Kung Fu Industries, solutions meets problems. So the problem we have here is CO2 emissions, right? The fact that we have CO2 trapped in our upper atmosphere, which is causing the planet to warm up, right? The climate crisis or climate control, right? So we want to fix it, right? So there's some ideas on how to fix it that's out there. People are, trying to solve the problem, which is good. It's better to try, right? Some people have the ideas of using trees, planting more trees to help with the carbon emission, right? Using artificial trees, basically, devices that act like trees that can extract the carbon out of the CO2 that's in the air. So it's called carbon capture, right? You capture the CO2 from the air and then run it through a process to separate the oxygen from the carbon, store the carbon, and release the oxygen, and rinse and repeat. So there's that, right? Which is a good idea. The only thing is the planet's very, very big, so it's going to be very hard to get rid of all those decades of carbon emissions out of the atmosphere. And then there's the fact that distance-wise, most of the devices are here on sea level, while the CO2 is up in the atmosphere, very, very high up. So that makes it a little harder to clean that out when it's all the way at the top. Think of it like a fish tank, right? You have a filter all the way at the bottom of the fish tank to filter out the water, right? But all the gook and the grime and all the trash, right, is all at the top, floating on the surface of the water, right? It's gonna be hard for that filter to get to that stuff and then deal with it, because it has to go through all the water from the bottom first to try to get to the top. So it's gonna take a long time, and it might never get there, right? It might just end up cycling the same water over and over again. You get the idea. But if you move or make it where the filter is mobile, and it goes and it floats up to the surface area and starts filtering from there, so top to bottom instead of bottom to the top, then you'll be able to deal with what's at the top a whole lot better. So that's how I see the whole situation. Since the problem is way up above us, it doesn't make sense to try to fix it down here, right? We need to go up there and try to fix it. So my solution for it, or one of my many ideas, is my current newest thought was the idea that it's trapped in the ozone, right? It's trapped in the upper atmosphere. We need a way to release it from the upper atmosphere and then release it into space, because space is vast. So instead of trying to pull it down from the atmosphere, right, from the sky down to the ground, and try to store it somewhere on Earth, why not just release it into space? So a couple ideas I had was to shine light or some type of energy source, right? Frequency, maybe sound waves or whatever, to push the CO2 out into space. Or we could use satellites, which is my thought that I just had before recording this, was using satellites to pull, kind of like tractor beams, right? Pull and attract the CO2 from the upper atmosphere into space, right? It's a lot like, just going in the fish tank, right? Taking a big little scooper thing and just scoop, the stuff that's on the surface, right? That's on the top of the fish tank, right? Scoop it up, So basically that's the idea. So it's like, okay, that's a way to clean our upper atmosphere, would be to push or pull the CO2 out into space. So that's my main idea right now. I'm still trying to figure out different ways to initiate that, right? Wondering if there's a frequency, if we can use lights like laser beams, so that photons and whatnot, to push the CO2 into space, or maybe even attract it, make it where we can get it, we can cause it to come down. So imagine just shooting a beam of light straight up into the sky, and then all the carbon dioxide, right, just comes down, travels down that beam of light into a device that can, filter it out. So just an idea.